Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com.
This week on Duel Review, our favorite arcade games, followed by Elf and Lied.
We take a look at Sin City, and we start off the week with the death of Superman. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. Screw you, Superman.
Welcome to April 30th. It is a Monday, and we are doing The Death of Superman.
That's right. And quite honestly, this is like a little pet project of mine, because I don't like Superman very much, and I really like seeing his ass get handed to him. I really like that. So, Death of Superman.
To clarify, I like Superman. He doesn't.
I like seeing him get his ass kicked, for sure. So here we go. This is the trade that I picked up when I was a kid. I mean, you know, whatever. This is quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
Was it 1990? I think. Yeah, quite a fun little story. Reading back through it though, you know, the art is dated. It's kind of one of those classic comic books.
I dig the art because of its classic nature.
Yeah, I dig it too. Reading back through it though.
Thank you.
There wasn't quite as much of a battle between Doomsday and Superman as I had remembered, but there's a lot of reasons to bring this book up, and you know we'll start going through them. First of all, the story is, if you're not familiar with it, Doomsday basically is unleashed, or he breaks himself out of a containment. There's this thing where he's like pounding through the earth to get out.
Right.
He's got one hand secured behind his back. And,
which I thought was stupid. Why would they do that?
Because,
he's got one hand tied behind his back. They just wanted to say that in the comic.
Well, no, because they showed that he's even more powerful. I mean, he basically runs into the Justice League, or at least most of them.
Right.
Superman, not yet. And he basically just destroys them, and he does it all with one hand behind his back. The reason that his hand gets free ever is that, you know, like Maxima and I mean, they all concentrate their powers. You know, Superman joins them, and they all concentrate their powers on him at once. And they're just like, look, we don't want to kill anybody, but in this case, let's just obliterate him. That's all we got to do. And it like hardly scratches him, and all it does is free his hand because it burns off, you know, the thing that's securing it. So I think it's brilliant the way it was done. Back then, I hadn't seen anything like that. Doomsday. Okay, the story starts off with the Underworlders, right?
Yes.
So Superman is fighting them. They're trying to basically break into, whatever. They're trying to go to the surface. It's kind of that old chestnut. They have all these war machines that they're trying to bore away their way, and then all the war machine tanks or whatever will roll in. So Superman, of course, gets wind of this. He comes and he saves the day. Meanwhile, Doomsday is pounding himself out of his cell. And then Superman, unaware of Doomsday still, he goes on to like a talk radio show because he wants people to, you know, he wants the superheroes to be accessible to the public. Right. And then he catches wind of Doomsday. Justice League had run into him, and like Guy Gardner and stuff, they thought, oh, this guy, you know, no big deal. And they start to attack him, and they just get obliterated. Doomsday, the first thing that happens when he breaks out, like a little canary like lands in his hand, and he's like, huh, and he just goes crush. He just crushes it just to show you like Maxima, when she reads his mind, it's completely just death, rage, destruction, bloodlust, you know, whatever. So there's nothing salvageable. There's nothing they can do. So he literally just goes on a rampage. It's a lot like Juggernaut in Marvel world, where he goes straight, and anything in his way just gets obliterated. Right. You know, he doesn't go around anything. He just goes through it. So. They do a lot of little things to try to make it personal and try to draw in. Like they have that, you know, dysfunctional family where the son is like, screw you, mom, you know, whatever. But then when Doomsday shows up, he's concerned for her and shows character and whatever. But
that just feels like they're pushing for it, though. It's like,
yeah, it's tacked on. But the thing is, though, that's what comics were like. If you look at most of the comics back then, that's what they're like. They don't. You know, it's kind of like they have a core story that's like, oh, this is awesome, and it's going to push the the whole, you know, world forward a little bit. Right. And so then they just add this ancillary stuff to try to make it appeal to more. So it's not quite as well orchestrated in a way as it is today. And of course, I think that the old school were different than that, like the really old school. But this era, I
Right.
think it was just about trying new things.
And that's why it's evolved from there.
Yeah, well, and that also brings us to another point, is because a lot of people apparently blame this book for ruining comics.
Right.
And here's the reason why. Right after Superman dies, which he does die, but, you know, Dead Man brings it back. There's this whole thing with his soul and whatever.
Resurrection Man is Marvel, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's DC.
Well, it is, but it's Dead Man, whatever.
Okay.
So, you know, and there's the other 4 Superman that come out for a while. So they're really trying to do something new. But a couple months afterwards, Batman got his spine broken by Bane, and you know, it just kind of continued from there.
Yeah, and I could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to escalate the panic in the universe, but
instead they set forth this notion that, hey, we don't have to be accountable. We can just create alternate realities, or we can just kind of come up with whatever is the excuse of putting it back into the episodic state, which they still do today, unfortunately. And that's why, you know, we complain all the time about how, you know, you have a main story and then it just branches off and then branches off from there. And so all of a sudden you've got like 8 different books of the same story. And it's like, which ones do I follow? And so unfortunately, there is some truth to that. Now, I don't know if you can really blame, you know, this story arc, though. Like, I was thrilled. Like, honestly, I hadn't picked up a DC book other than Batman forever. But as soon as they're like, Superman's going to die, sweet. I mean, like, who's going to, you know, how is that going to happen?
Yeah, how do you kill the man who can't be killed?
And I remember so vividly in my head some of these panels, but I didn't recall that that's pretty much all there is. Like, there's really not a whole lot between Doomsday and Superman, but what there is there, it's like, we hadn't seen it before, you know, it's like, Superman's bleeding, like, how is he scratched, like, how is that possible, you know? And
I wanted to just quickly show some of the art here, and I wanted to point out, you know, the very vibrant colors, but even among the vibrant, there's a lot of rage, there's a lot of chaos. It's really awesome, you know, so I do totally dig the art here.
I dig his suit, and I dig Doomsday himself, you know, mostly.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of cliche, you know, just the monster with spiky, bony things coming out of him. But
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and again, I didn't really care for much of the Justice League, so it was fine when I saw, you know, Blue Beetle getting beat up and Guy Gardner and whatever.
Yeah, I forgot all about Guy Gardner too. That's unfortunate.
Blood, whatever his name is, Blood something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Blood West, Blood.
So
Fallen.
So that's, you know, it is a really fun book. I would definitely recommend checking out. Just like I would recommend the Batman arc with Bane breaking his spine. You know, it's very interesting. But apparently there are, you know, consequences to making storylines and not really being accountable for them. This is a kind of reboot.
Yeah,
you know?
they went and they took a chance. They wanted to try and do different things, but then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna bring it back to the way it was anyway. So it's like, then why bother?
Yeah, I think
bothers me.
It is a good book. I definitely do recommend if you're interested in Superman. I remember they had, you know, like the black bags. I think I have one somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like an unopened black bag with a card and a magazine or whatever. And you know, like it was during the era where they were starting to come out with the foil covers and the all white covers, and you know, they did a lot of gimmicky stuff to sell us stupid kids. You know.
And we bought them.
One of every different kind.
Oh yeah. The variant covers. They still do that.
But yeah, I did really enjoy this. Again, I just love seeing it's iconic. You know, everybody's seen this image.
Yeah,
where
the cape on
the cape is all shredded on a stick, you know, stuck in the ground. That's basically his grave marker at that point. So anyway, so it did help shape comics, whether it did it well or not, you know, whether it was a good thing or not. I mean, if you were responsible, like we've talked about it before, like what happens, because we both want to kill off characters in our books, and they're going to stay dead.
Yes.
But what happens when you have fans that are like, oh, that was my favorite character, you know, like you can't do this to me, or whatever. You have to either think of something that works, like we kind of have, which we won't out that. At some point, we might do that, or you just cop out and say, "Oh, well, he's just brought back," and then that diminishes the whole thing. It's like, "Oh, well, Spider-Man's dead. Well, who cares?" You know, because we've got the real Spider-Man still alive, and you know they just want this opportunity to change.
Although in the Ultimate universe, he's dead for good, but. Even still, that's just
well, yeah, but there's another Spider-Man now.
Yeah,
and his personality is exactly the same.
Yeah,
they just changed his culture, basically. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, we're fans of good storytelling. We wish they would.
Yeah, and this was supposed to be so impactful. The death of Superman. It's supposed to.
And
it was supposed to mean something. Yeah, it was for a little bit, but
because we had the 4, the robot in the middle and the whatever.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. There was Steel. There was that kid. There was Mechanico. Was it? What the hell was the name of the frickin' droid?
I don't remember the name.
And then I forget what the fourth one was, but yeah, there was the fourth
Bizarro.
Superman. And then they brought him back, and then they gave him cancer, and then they split him into two.
Yeah, they definitely took him from being, this classic immortal, unstoppable,
Right.
into, he gets stopped every episode now, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I can understand, but I still enjoy. I do enjoy the build-up in this book, even though it's a little old, and I wish there was a little more of the actual battle between him and Superman.
Doomsday and Superman.
Yeah, I still enjoy the build-up.
Yeah. And you know what? The action sequence are really awesome. I really dug a lot of the fighting that happened in there. It was really cool.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Tell us what you think.
We still have our contest still going. Basically, you find your favorite underrated item, and then you send it to us, and we'll be like, okay, this is cool, but the coolest one we'll both review, and you'll win a shirt,
right.
which you can find. He's actually wearing the Blood Fallen
logo today. Yeah.
Blood Fallen logo. All of the shirts can be found on SpiderWolf.com, along with some other wares and tears, and
Like the card game.
His card game.
There are new tutorials up there, so if you want to get a flavor or see how to play it.
Yep, check it out and then buy it, please. We're going to be doing, hopefully soon, we're going to be doing demos on, comic shops.
Yeah,
And,
probably mostly locally, but who knows?
Yeah, we might travel to wherever you're
Support
from.
indie developers.
Please,
just like
because
us.
that's us.
All right, guys.
All right, bye. Oh, that was quick, man.
I knew I was getting that one.
You were like quick draw, bam, like that.
You know that thing you see it and then I knew I was getting that one.
Nice.
See ya.
Bye.
Blood falling. I'm the bad guy today. Whoops. This week I'm gonna be the bad guy.
This week.
Whole this week. We talk about our favorite arcade games up next.
What do you think, with or without hat?
It's straw. I don't like straw hats, so I'd say without.
Man, see? I'm gonna do it with it, see? That's gonna be grand, see? Grand.
You do realize that nobody from that era wore a straw fedora.
Yes, I'm very aware.
That's like from, unless you were like vacationing in the, Caribbean
The Caribbean.
or something.
Acapulco. Welcome to FM. You couldn't say April for some reason. April came out.
I don't even know what you were doing, so.
I don't know either.
It's the hat.
It is the hat. Makes me do weird things.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Because it's where I put my thumb. Pick it up.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. Screw you, Superman. Die, Superman, die. I like seeing his ass get kicked. What can I say? This week I'm gonna be the bad guy. Die, Superman, die.